Hello, everyone. How you doing? You're very welcome to this week's uh, rugby review with myself, Aidan, Raftery, and as always from Craig's Rugby Club, we have Adrian Leddy. Hello, Adrian. How are you? Are you well?
How are you at, Aidan? All good with me?
That's good. That's good. And it's a lovely afternoon here, and yeah, plenty as always to talk about in rugby circles, especially at local rugby. We'll be talking about the Craig's versus Richmond later on. Unfortunately, the result didn't go Craig's way, but a good performance that they can be proud of. We'll go into that later on. But I suppose we'll start off as we always do with the mini rugby, and there was an under 7 and under 11 blitz.
Yeah, and our under 12s were away as well. So, plenty of blitzes at this time of the year, and it's coming to an end. This is basically the wrap up. The usual Saturday mornings are finished for this season. So it's just maybe a few small blitzes and that they're still to take place. And it was an enjoyable year, great turnouts all season for many rugby boys and girls. Conditions over the season overall was quite good, and they being out there with them and watching them, they seem to get absolutely fantastic enjoyment out of it, and their parents did as well, and we under Shane Fleming and all the other coaches, they got a lot of great. Help and coaches and management and so on during the season, and also some of our first and second team panel helped out with the coaches as well, and that was a help to see some of our senior players giving something back to the game, and they really enjoyed and they look up to their first team player and the likes of Brian Diffley and other senior players there. They take great heed and they hang on to every word that they say, and hopefully that someday that they will make it to the same level. They play senior level with Craigs.
That's it, because as I say, these mini rugby players, they're the future of the club, I suppose, going on for years to come, which is great. And next up, moving on to the under 12 boys and girls.
Yeah, they have done very well all season as well, and the whole youth section within Craig's, both boys and girls. Uh, there's a lot of fixtures there at all age groups. When I was involved, you only played you skipped a year, 14, 16, 18, 20, but now they play at all age levels. So there's no gap, or the whole idea is that no boy or girl maybe gets strong enough if you're playing them every year. If there's 2 years of a difference, it can make a difference at youth level, particularly within rugby. So they had some results. They at youths they qualified in some of the quarterfinals at under 15 and 16s. They're now into the semi-final stage, and our under 15s are away this weekend to Carrick-on-Shannon, and our under 16 girls play away to Ballina on Saturday. And then out on Sundays or Wednesday is our under 16 boys in the semi-final away to our next door neighbours, Buccaneers. They play it there. So we're still waiting on clarification for our under 18 girls who they actually have to play in the final. So Chumuk Gerard was supposed to play them last weekend. That game fell apart, and at this stage we were from Craig's management point of view, they don't know what the situation is there for our under 18 girls.
That's it, and that's great to see with the under 15 boys and the girls. Getting game. It's great to get games towards the end of the season. And next up, another function to look forward to with regards to Craig's, that all important dinner dance there, where the players will be receiving their medals at all levels, I suppose, and the usual awards. It's usually a great night, for all involved in the club.
Yeah. They on tomorrow night, Saturday night, like they there's going to be a huge turnout from all the players and their partners and so on. So it's really a night. I'm looking forward to it myself. There's over 200 tickets sold already. I know that knowing Craig's, there's always a few stragglers at the end that will come in. So that's we'll be well over 200. And as you rightly says, we will be honouring our first team that has won the junior league, Connacht Junior League final. We will be giving out the medals on the night, and also to our second team, they will be getting the Junior 1C Cup medals as well. And it's a great honour to be able to award the two teams and have the cups and all there on the night. And it's going to be just a very enjoyable night and something to look forward to. And we have a lot of distinguished guests coming, and Mary Healy, that Captain Connacht for a number of years, played for Galwegians. She's one of our speakers. Pádraig Moran, the current president of Connacht, he'll be there. John Carr, who's chairman of the competitions committee, recently received the overall Connacht Award, volunteer award. So people like that have put a huge amount of work into it. And we have also our own from Castlereagh, from Treen and Castlereagh, Sue Carty, who's on there, if you want, on World Rugby, coming to the night as well. So we will be awarding the three girls that made that's on the under 18 international panel as well. So we'll be honouring them on the night as well. So it's a big lot of events that will be taking place on the night.
That's it. And I suppose all the success that has happened this year at all levels is a culmination of all the hard work that has gone on in the last, even go back 10, 15 years. This has come to fruition this year, and it just goes to show you with the hard work of both the clubs and both the coaches and the players, and indeed the community of Craig's as well, and the sponsors. That's reflected, I suppose, in the facilities now that have that are looking lovely. I saw it there a couple of weeks ago there. It's culminated in the success this season, which is great. And just as part of that as well, moving on to the first team as well, they had an AIL playoff game at the weekend. Unfortunately, not the way they would have liked it to go, but it was a very close game and a very good performance by Craigs. They lost 11-14.
Yeah, and in relation to your earlier comment there, I agree fully with you. And we have a great community club, great spirit there with the locals, and in our whole catchment area, we have got great support, and the sponsors have stood with us thick and thin over the years. And rightly, that this didn't happen overnight. This success, it was through a lot of hard work by management and coaches at many youth and all, that has brought a lot of, and at school level, that has brought a lot of these young players through the system. So it's great to have home bred players there that have made it through and made it up through the club. And again, they tested themselves after the disappointing loss against Westport in the Connacht Junior Cup. They had to face to Dublin, to Coolmine last Saturday, to face the Munster champions Richmond in the AIL qualifiers. A very good game, but unfortunately the weather turned nasty. It was beautiful for the first semi-final, but the heavens absolutely opened to the Munster and Connacht. We mustn't be saying our prayers right there that when the heavens just came down at that particular time, and it spoiled the game, particularly in the second half when other foot conditions started to get slippy, and the ball started, was heavy. But we stuck in the game. We played exceptionally well. There was good forwards, backs, movements. We were within, that they had a very good kicker at our half level. We just missed one last kick, but all in all, we were in the game until the final whistle. So there was only the penalty kick in it. So again, to show that the club and Craig's are up at that level is great, and to know what they have to do to if their ambitions is to get into the EIL, then we just have to up the stakes a bit more. In the other semi-final, Clogher Valley from outside Enniskillen, 5 Mile Town, defeated Bective in the other semi-final. So it's a final now between Clogher Valley and Richmond on Saturday week in Ashbourne. So that will be a game to look forward to. The Ulster, the Ulster and Munster champions, and the winner goes automatically through to the EIL, and the runner-up plays the second from bottom in the EIL to be. So it's a good competition. It's good to see. It's good to see. It was good for the team to see how they would go against the top side like Richmond.
That's great, and I suppose that really closes the season for the senior men's for the first team, I suppose, and they can reflect on what has overall been quite a successful season, I suppose, for the first team, but also at underage level and in the mini rugby. Obviously, with the mini rugby, the blitzes would have been of a very high standard, and over the coming years, then the kids will be developing their skills, which will be great as well.
Oh, absolutely. It's there's plenty of rugby yet to play at underage level and youth level within the club, and I do wish all our underage teams in that they're well for the rest of the season. That the first and second team, there will be work going on in the off season as well. Some of them will go on to play other sports, and some of them will spend some time in the gym, and it's important that they do, because that the game does need the players need to be in good condition, and there's no better way to build up your muscles and to keep yourself in shape over the summer months than spending some time in the gym. So that's what's ahead of the first team.
That's it. And just to give a quick mention to the very successful lotto that goes on in the club, and a jackpot stands at 7,500. That's a good old jackpot.
It is indeed, Aidan. Yeah, it's one of our biggest breadwinners in the club. The lotto that we run, it's an annual lotto. People pays a lot. Most people pays it in along with their membership, and then we have the membership, and we have holdings, and we have our general sponsors, our main sponsors. So they're our main sources of income, and without that, we wouldn't be able to do what we're doing and to run all the teams that we are running. Because, as you well know, being involved in sport and in teams, it takes a fair bit of money to keep teams on the road nowadays, and again, we're very thankful to the support to the local community that we have got over the years.
That's it. And now moving on to AIL level, and we'll kick off, I suppose, with what's going on in Buccaneers.
Well, Aidan, I'm disappointed to say that the wheels seem to have come off the wagon with the Buccaneers first team. They lost out again with a bad defeat to Old Wesley away at the last Saturday, and again, I have no answers to what's happening. I know they have a number of injuries, and they rely on some of the kind of players and that they're being available to them. But for a team that started off so well at the beginning of the season, it seems to just have gone wrong at the wrong time for them, and particularly that they are in danger now of losing out the top four, and that would mean that they'd miss out on the qualifying or playoff games. So hopefully that they can get the show back on, and that they can put in one hell of a performance again on Saturday week to get there. But this weekend at least they have a break from the IL. They play Sligo in the senior cup final in the sports ground on Sunday. So at least that will give them a break from travelling and from the IL. That's what we'd hope to see, that they would, as our neighbours, we'd like to see them progressing well in the IL, and at least getting into the playoff situation.
That's it. And moving on then to Carrick Rugby Club, and Carrick progress to the last four of the under-15 Connacht Cup.
They did indeed, yeah. They did indeed, and it's lovely to see Carrick and that there, and we won't be shouting for Carrick tomorrow Saturday. We'll be, as I say, we're playing them down in Carrick, and it's always a good sporting occasion between Carrick and ourselves, no matter what level it's at, and it's great, and it's great to see the work that that's going on in Carrick and Shannon Rugby Club, and also that they're getting into the Stephen King and his team are getting into the schools as well there, which will be a big help and a big asset to the club.
And finally, at AIL level, then Sligo Rugby Club.
Yeah, Sligo. Sligo really have a different season than Buccaneers. Sligo have really turned it around, and they had a second great win away from home. And after the win the previous week against Reaney, they travelled to Malahide, which would be a fancy team in Dublin, and they won the game narrowly to move up into the top four. So now they on Saturday week they'll have a home fixture against Belfast Harlequin. So, it's all to do there for Sligo. They're playing exceptionally well. They're an attractive team, and they have a lot of players that know more than ourselves that have come through the structure, under-age structure, and that through the team. They don't rely really on support from Connacht players. They have their own squad there, and I think it's probably the way to go. It's when you have a settled team, a team that where they're playing together week in, week out, and training together. It seems to build up the morale a lot better, and that's what Sligo seems to do. And Sligo, again, as I've said on this program before, they have a good structure there, particularly with the number of schools and regional college and all. And with their underage structure, they have a lot of teams still involved, both boys and girls, in youth competitions as well. So, Sligo as a club is going exceptionally well at the present time.
That's great to see. And next up, we talk about, I suppose, Connacht Rugby and indeed the URC and what's going on in the URC.
Well, first of all, last weekend they travelled away to Italy to play Treviso, and they came unstuck, and they started off very well, went into a good lead, and then I don't know, they seemed to the Treviso seemed to up their game, and Connacht wasn't able to live with it, so they lost out to Treviso, and as a result, they're now out of the European Challenge Cup. So their only competition, as you say now, that they're in is to concentrate on the URC. So Saturday week they have a big game in the sports ground against Cardiff, and they need to win that to stay up in the sixth place that they're in at the moment, because Cardiff are biting at their heels as well there. So you wouldn't want to give an inch to Cardiff. So hopefully that we'll have all our players back. Jack Carty has been out, and Dennis Buckley have been out to injury, but with no game this weekend and another week to go, I'd be hoping that the two lads will be able to make it back into this team for Saturday week against Cardiff in the sports ground. So that's the game to look forward to. And the final game then in the URC for Connacht is away to Glasgow.
That's it, and that's go. Hopefully, they can finish off the season on a good note with a win against Sligo or a win against Glasgow. But as we know, I suppose really Glasgow aren't an easy team to beat, and I suppose really something we don't like to mention. But I suppose when you look at Connacht, is it fair to say that Connacht really, they're not good travellers? Like, I mean, as in, when they're away, they find it hard to get results away.
Yeah, they're trying to get the consistency is a problem now. They were consistent. They had put a few number of back-to-back games before the weekend, and it was disappointing for them to go down the way they did against Treviso. But maybe it's the blessing in disguise that in one way, that they now can focus fully on the URC, because the URC to stay up in sixth place. And it's important to get into the European Cup for next season. So that's the important aim now that the Connacht squad have. And as you're right to say, that travelling away to Glasgow are a tough team to beat in Glasgow. I have been there on numerous occasions, and we always find Glasgow a tough place to go. And hopefully now that if they get the win over Cardiff at home, that will booster them going travelling over to Glasgow.
That's it. And finally, we move on to the Women's Six Nations. And what are your thoughts on the Six Nations so far for the Ireland women's team?
Yeah, they got a bit of a trouncing again from France, and again it's a tough ask. New team, new management, new coaches, the whole new structure there. So, like they haven't, they weren't in the World Cup. So all the other teams have an advantage that they participated in the World Cup. So there would be stages ahead in their development. The new management and coaches, they brought in a young new squad there, and they're hoping to develop them up to a certain level that they will be there for the next World Cup come around. So, a lot of players have retired. A lot of the senior players have retired. So that's it's the transition period there for the Irish women's side. It's going to be difficult. They are. Let's hope maybe that they can get a win against Scotland, because it won't be too pleasant, let's say, when England comes here as well. So, like, England are a very powerful side, and like Scotland probably are our own hope. They sadly were the team that knocked us out of the World Cup, and that was where a lot of the issues in that there was raised. And we should be up there, and we should be up there to be as good as Scotland and Wales, but just that they both of them teams did compete in the World Cup, and they are maybe a little bit further in the development than the Irish squad at the present time.
That's it. And I suppose really when you look at the Six Nations and indeed the World Cup for this women's team, I mean, they are a team that are up against professionals. Like, France are a professional. They're professional players. England, a lot of these teams are professional teams, and it's very hard when a team like Ireland, who isn't fully professional, comes up against these sides, because they're fully. I'm not saying that they can't beat them, but it is very hard to compete against teams like that.
It is, yeah, but in fairness to the IRFU, they have now put a structure in place after a lot of work between the IRFU, the Irish women, and some of the past players there. They put a new structure in place, and we'd like to see that with a certain amount of funding, that they're getting a considerable more funding now than they were in the past, and we'd like to see that would soon be able to pay dividends. We're not seeing it on the pitch at the minute, but let's hope that over the long term that we will. And it's unfortunate that the Six Nations is clashing with the Sevens tournament as well, because we don't have the depth in Ireland in women's rugby at the moment to have talented players. But I wouldn't be making any excuses at the same time. We should be developing a wider panel that we're able to compete both in the sevens and in the 15-a-side game.
That's it. Well, listen, thanks very much, Adrian, for taking the time out to do Rugby View with me, and we look forward to doing it all again next week.
Thank you very much, Aidan.
No problem. Thanks very much. And that was Adrian Leddy from Craig's Rugby Club going through all things